Hello there, and welcome back to our channel on this absolutely lovely day. I have to tell you, there is nothing quite like the feeling of watching time fly by in the world of daytime television. 1 minute, we are watching our favorite couples welcome a tiny, precious baby into the world. And what feels like just a blink of an eye later, that same child is suddenly walking, talking, and bringing their own brand of drama to the screen. We all know this beloved television tradition well, that magical soap opera rapid aging syndrome that suddenly transforms the little ones into teenagers ready to take on the world. It is always a bit of a shock to the system at first, but I am absolutely buzzing with anticipation about the latest transformation happening right now in Port Charles. Just last month, the rumor mill was spinning with whispers and leaks about a major change coming to the canvas, and now it is finally official. The sweet little girl of Scout Kaine and Sam McCall is growing up right before our eyes. The wonderfully talented and incredibly promising young actress Kaden Tokarsski is stepping into the role of Scout Kaine, bringing the character into her teenage years. I remember when the news first broke, I felt that familiar jolt of surprise mixed with pure excitement. It is always an adjustment when a character we have known as a child suddenly appears older and wiser, but my goodness, the possibilities this opens up for the storyline are simply endless. When I think back on Scout's journey so far, my heart just swells. This is a child who was born from such a deep, complicated love story between Drew and Sam. We have watched her through all the early years, through the quiet moments and the family upheavals, always seeing her as the innocent little girl caught in the middle of the adult chaos. Now, seeing her age up into a teenager means we are going to get to know the real Scout. We are going to hear her actual voice, see her make her own choices, and watch her navigate the incredibly complicated waters of growing up in a town where nothing is ever simple. I just know this is going to add such a rich, emotional layer to the show. What makes me even more thrilled about this casting is learning a bit about Kaden Tokarsski herself. While this is her first major television role, she is already showing such a deep respect and genuine love for the material. In a recent interview, she shared something that absolutely warmed my heart. She is actually a fan of the show. She has been watching for a few years now, soaking in the drama and the history of Port Charles. She even mentioned that she watched the incredibly dramatic scenes of Scout's own supposed death from years ago. Knowing that the actress stepping into this role already understands the weight of the history she is carrying makes me feel so incredibly invested in her success. But let me tell you about the moment that truly made my jaw drop. Before Kaden even made her official debut on screen, some of her casting photos began to circulate online, and I simply could not believe my eyes. The resemblance is absolutely uncanny. Looking at those photos, it was like looking at a young Kelly Monaco. The dark hair, the expressive eyes, that certain spark of defiance in her expression, it was all right there. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, looking at my screen, and feeling a sudden rush of emotion. It is one thing to cast a talented actor, but to find someone who visually captures the very essence of the beloved Sam McCall is a stroke of absolute casting genius. Speaking of Sam McCall, we really need to talk about the massive legacy that Kaden is stepping into. For so many years, Sam was the beating heart of so many incredible storylines. She was the ultimate survivor, a woman who rode into town with a mysterious past and carved out a life filled with fierce love, breathtaking adventures, and unyielding loyalty to her family. Sam was never the traditional damsel in distress. She was the woman who would kick down the door to save the people she loved. Thinking about all that rich history, all those years of Kelly Monaco pouring her soul into that character, makes me realize just how important Scout's teenage years are going to be. So naturally, everyone has been wondering the exact same thing. Is Scout going to follow in her mother's legendary footsteps? Kaden recently sat down for a wonderful interview with Soap Opera Digest, and her insights into the character just made me love her even more. She spoke so thoughtfully about the chatter surrounding Scout and Sam, and she handled the comparisons beautifully. She made it very clear that while Scout is her own person, she carries the undeniable spirit of her mother. Hearing her talk about the character with such clarity and affection tells me that we are in for a truly spectacular performance. Kaden described Scout as being fiercely independent, and I could not agree more with that direction for the character. Growing up with parents who have been through as much turmoil, danger, and heartache as Drew and Sam, a child would naturally have to develop a strong sense of self-reliance. I can already picture Scout pushing boundaries, questioning authority, and wanting to figure things out on her own terms, just like her mother always did. That independent streak is going to cause some serious sparks to fly, especially when it comes to dealing with the adults in her life who still want to protect her from the harsh realities of the world. But the part of Kaden's interview that really gave me chills was when she said she sees similarities between Scout and Sam, specifically calling Scout a strong fighter. Oh, how my heart leapt at those words. Port Charles is not a town for the faint of heart. And knowing that Scout has inherited her mother's fighting spirit is exactly what I wanted to hear. I want to see her stand up for what she believes in. I want to see her fiercely protect her family and her friends. Sam McCall never backed down from a challenge, no matter how dangerous, and seeing that same fire ignite in her teenage daughter is going to be incredibly satisfying to watch. Alongside being a fighter, Kaden also described Scout as being smart and funny. This brings such a wonderful balance to the character. We all know that the drama in this town can get incredibly heavy and dark at times, so having a sharp-witted, intelligent teenager who can deliver a perfectly timed, sarcastic remark is going to be a breath of fresh air. Sam always had that dry, clever sense of humor, a way of cutting through the nonsense with just a look or a quick word. If Scout can bring that same intelligent humor to the screen, she is going to instantly win over the hearts of the viewers, just like her mother did all those years ago. All of this talk about how much Scout resembles Sam has sparked a delightful question among the fans. Is it time to buy this girl a leather jacket? I have to admit, the thought of it brings a massive smile to my face. The leather jacket was not just a piece of clothing for Sam, it was her armor, her signature, a symbol of her tough exterior and her adventurous soul. The idea of Scout slipping on a leather jacket of her own feels like the ultimate passing of the torch. It would be such a beautiful visual nod to the audience, a way of saying that the spirit of Sam McCall is alive and well, living on through her beautiful, headstrong daughter. This brings me to the storyline possibilities that have my mind racing a mile a minute. If the writers truly lean into this, we are standing on the edge of an absolute storyline explosion. The idea of Scout actively seeking out her mother's legacy, digging into the past to understand the woman who gave her life, is incredibly rich with emotional potential. Imagine Scout uncovering old case files, learning about the dangerous undercover missions, and discovering the depths of her mother's bravery. It would be a journey of self-discovery for Scout, and a deeply moving trip down memory lane for all of us who have loved Sam for so long. And then there is the most thrilling, heart-pounding thought of all. What if Scout's journey into her mother's past is the very thing that somehow, in true miraculous soap opera fashion, paves the way for Sam to return? We all know that in the world of daytime television, very few things are truly permanent, and the bond between a mother and a daughter is a powerful force. If Scout's fierce love and determination were the catalyst for uncovering a shocking truth that brings Sam back to us, it would be the kind of epic, unforgettable storytelling that keeps us glued to our screens for decades. It is a wild hope, but it is one I am holding on to with both hands. Even without a miraculous return, the immediate impact of a teenage Scout on her father, Drew Kaine, is going to be fascinating to watch. Drew has been through the ringer lately, and trying to parent a sudden teenager who has all of her mother's rebellious, independent traits is going to test him in entirely new ways. I can already see the emotional scenes playing out as Drew wants to keep her safe and Scout wants to spread her wings. The friction, the misunderstandings, and ultimately, the deep, unconditional love between a father and his daughter will provide some incredibly grounded, emotional television that I am so eager to see unfold. Beyond her family, bringing a teenage scout onto the canvas breathes so much new life into the younger generation of Port Charles. We need these young characters to step up and start forming their own rivalries, their own friendships, and their own heartbreaking romances. Scout is perfectly positioned to be right at the center of the teen scene. With her smarts, her humor, and her fighting spirit, she is not going to be a wallflower. She is going to be a force of nature, shaking up the dynamics and giving us a whole new set of dramatic entanglements to obsess over. I love watching the next generation take the reins, and Kaden seems more ready than ever for the challenge. This whole situation just reminds me of why I have loved watching this show for so many years. It is about family, about history, and about the legacy that is passed down from one generation to the next. Watching a character like Scout grow up and begin to mirror the beloved traits of her mother is a deeply comforting and beautiful experience. It makes the world of Port Charles feel real, lived in, and continuous. We invest our hearts into these families, and seeing the daughter of Sam McCall stand tall, ready to face the world with that same fiery spirit, feels like a reward for all our years of loyal viewing. I am just so incredibly ready for this new chapter. Kaden Brena Tokarsski is stepping into a massive role with so much grace, enthusiasm, and respect for the history of the show. I cannot wait to see her make Scout her own, to see her wear that metaphorical or literal leather jacket with pride, and to watch her carve out her own legendary path in Port Charles. Whether she is digging into her mother's past, giving her father a run for his money, or just surviving the daily drama of growing up, I will be watching every single moment, cheering her on with all my heart. Bring on the drama, bring on the legacy, and welcome to the family, Kaden.